Deepin.
So Deepin.
Why Deepin matters so much? What was the boldest move? I have a phone and I have all the things that I consume. And do you think I can earn enough? Do you think we are in a bull market right now?
Deepin today is about $100 billion market.
Really?
Deepin is going to grow to $3.5 trillion by 2028.
GM folks, welcome back to Emergence Unchained, the show where we step away from the usual hype and dig into the stories, ideas, and trends shaping the wild world of crypto. And today we are diving into something that I'm personally fascinated by, that is Deepin, the decentralized physical infrastructure networks. Think of it as everyday devices forming powerful networks for data sharing and tracking without big tech calling the shots. And to walk us through, we have got the perfect guest with us, Markus. He's the CEO and co founder of XYO Network, one of the earliest movers in this space, by the way, helping people own and earn from their data. Markus, thanks for taking the time with us, and awesome to have you here. And let's unchain the future.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be.
Cool. So, Markus, first question: how are you doing today, and what got you excited about jumping into this call?
I'm doing well. I'm smiling because a lot of exciting stuff is happening in the industry and in Deepin. Decentralized physical infrastructure networks are growing quite a bit, and it's great for us. Being the first Deepin to be there. And not only
For sure.
witnessing this growth, but being a big part of it.
For sure, for sure. Some of my listeners, they might be familiar with the Bitcoin, they might be familiar with Ethereum, but Deepin, it could be a very new term for them. So, how do you basically explain Deepin to someone very new in this space?
Yeah, Deepin is basically where the community uses infrastructure which is either underutilized, let's say your computer or your car, or where there's a lack of infrastructure, let's say there's not enough electricity in a certain town or something, right? Or where people want to earn returns and want to get the funding from different sources and build that themselves. So in the case of a computer, for example, you can say, okay, you use your computer, let's say during the day. Let's say you have a gaming computer, right? You use it during the day, but in the night it's idle. And it's kind of a waste of its resources. And so you can use that computer then to do compute for AI problems, for example, or you can use it for data storage and so on. And in return, you earn some tokens, or you can provide, let's say there's a town which doesn't have proper electricity, and you can have it so you build a decentralized electricity grid where you have some people have solar and some people have batteries, let's say, and then you have a microgrid where the electricity gets moved around, and the people who provide the solar cells and the batteries earn tokens as other people consume. They're paying for this consumption. And if you think about cars, for example, cars are used in the US, at least where I am, 3% of the time, right? It's a huge waste of resources, while it's the second largest purchase for most people. And
For sure.
imagine you can use a car 90% of the time, for example, right? Let's say it's self-driving, right? So it drives around and then drives people around, so it earns you a return, right? Instead of being a depreciating asset, it's actually earning a return for you, right? And that's the idea, is to build things which earn a return, or to do it in places which are underutilized and forgotten by big companies, or right to go into the next frontier where companies might be afraid to build let's say a data center in somewhere, right? And you can just come together as a community and build it as a Deepin project, for example.
I love that breakdown. So I think you have been in this space for last 8 years, right? So that's totally ancient for even for crypto, right? So what I don't think Deepin was even the word at that time,
That's
if
right.
I'm not wrong. So what pulled you into this space so early on?
Yeah, I started a Bitcoin mining company in 2013. That's
Okay.
12 years ago. And then, we started XYO. We had the first ideas 8 years ago, and then launched it in 2018. So like about 7.5 years ago. And the idea then was we we came out of the 2017 was this mega hype cycle, was called the
Yeah.
ICO boom.
That was the one bull market that everybody pulled in.
Yeah, exactly. It was absolutely crazy. And most of the projects from that time are not in existence anymore. And the reason is because they didn't build real business models, right? They thought, they had a philosophy often like, okay, we're going to be blockchain and Bitcoin. And that is about, we as a global community of humans are one community, there's no borders. We do peer-to-peer things. It disintermediates the middleman. And we had really great ideas, but we didn't put fundamental business problems behind it. And so these businesses or projects went out of business, right, as soon as the token price basically dropped and they didn't have funds anymore.
What was the first idea that behind XYO? Was it something that is today now, or was it something else, or you pivoted to it?
Yeah, we evolved over time. So we realized location is easily spoofed or hacked, right? You can download a GPS spoofing app and pretend that you are in, I don't know, London right now, but you're actually in New York. That's a problem for most apps on your phone, right? But also for automated supply chains and self-driving cars and so on. You build a network of connected IoT devices where those IoT devices do cryptographic handshakes and confirm each other's proximity. And as you have more devices and more interactions, you get more certainty, and there's some secret sauce behind it. And then you can build relational maps between devices, and you build reputation and so on. Then we build something called proof of location, basically certainty around location. And you can use it for asset tracking, for example, or you can use it to do real world treasure hunts, or you can use that data to enhance data sets. And then over time, we realized it's really hard to scale IoT devices, right?
Yeah.
We try to have partnerships with SK Telecom, the South Korean telco, and T-Mobile, and it's an American carrier, and many others. And it was just 3-4 year conversations, and it's not what a nimble small crypto company wanted to do. So we launched an app called Coin.
Yeah.
It's a Coin app.
Yeah.
You can just download the app and do this geo mining and basically do verifications of location as well. But then, over time, we became a more fully fledged data collector and validation and verification network. And today, you can collect sensory data or even offline data like restaurants opening hours, for example, or you can have sensory data and many, many, many other data points you can collect, and then validate and verify it through the XYO network, and then we sell it to Web2 and Web3 companies. And the money that comes in, then we go in and buy the XYO token, and basically it's a circular economy up there.
Understood.
And today, we have more than 10 million nodes in the network. So we are the largest Deepin out there. And we have, our users use the app, for example, more than 3 hours a day on the foreground, while 80% of them are non-crypto users. So what we realize is like, yes, we are a crypto blockchain company, but we don't need to be crypto forward in our solution. Our solution is to provide really amazing data. And that once we realize that, then we think, really anyone can use it, and now we have like truckers and taxi drivers and people who jog and people who move around a lot, right? They use Coin because they can earn money on the side while they do their regular job. And then there's a lot of other groups of people who are also part of it. And that grew it. And once we grew the network, that we were able to find more demand and sell more data and so on.
Yeah, that I think in Deepin, especially, this is the most fascinating part to me as well. That you have people that are in the Web3 and Web2 space as well, and even so, I think more in the Web2 space. So which is more fascinating for me as well, because these days people in the Web3, they are always talking about the Web3 people and what they do, right? But otherwise, projects like yours, they are actually bringing in the adoption that is required, for the Web3 space to evolve, actually. So that is very exciting for me, to be honest. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. It's this bridging between Web2 and Web3, and then between the real world and Web2 and Web3. We call it a reality bridge. Connecting realities, basically.
That's a good term. That's a good term. Cool. So random question. If not crypto, what would it be to for you?
If not crypto, maybe I would be I love food. Maybe I would be a food tester or something. No. Uh,
That's that's
like,
something we share in common.
yeah, great. I was in tech a long time. I moved around the world. I lived in like 7 countries. I started a few tech companies. I started an ad tech company and a data company and a media company. I
Okay.
sold them all. I was lucky to. I love what you can do in tech, right? Because
Yeah.
it's hyper scalable, so you can touch lots of people and very quickly, and you can change people's lives very quickly in many different ways. Uh, and I'm very excited about that. So if I wouldn't be in crypto, then probably it would be some other.
Apart from food testing as well.
Say it again.
Apart from food testing as well.
Yes, yeah, I still do the food testing.
Talking about food, have you been in India?
I have, yeah,
You
yeah,
have?
yeah. I've been to
Oh, that's
Delhi. Yeah, I have some friends there.
okay.
Yeah,
Okay. So you must have. How do you like the food in?
I love it. Yeah, I love spicy food, so I love it. I might go to India Blockchain Week in December and
Okay.
think about doing like a roadshow, maybe meet some communities
Really?
along the way, do a road trip or something, and discover more of India,
Oh, that's cool.
maybe in December. Yeah,
That's one insight for you, for me as well. I'll catch up with you for sure in
love
December.
it. Yeah, awesome.
Cool. Okay, then let's zoom out a bit. I think we have already talked about this in brief. What do you think? Why Deepin matters so much? If you talk about the bigger picture of Web3 ecosystem.
Yeah, I just read an absolutely mind-boggling figure. So Deepin today is about $100 billion
Oh,
market.
really?
I just read from the World Economic Forum, they just released a report last month, which said Deepin is going to grow to $3.5 trillion by 2028. That's in 2.5 years, And it's going to be absolutely momentous the growth we're going to see in Deepin. And the reason I think it's because the world really needs it. If you look in certain places, they're really underserved from infrastructure. Imagine, what I mentioned with electricity. Imagine a place which doesn't have electricity. Suddenly you are able to put electricity there. You buy a Starlink terminal, you connect that village to the internet, and suddenly, it's connected to the real world, like to the world, not to the world, to the world economy.
Yeah.
And, it has water, can run water pumps, right? And it can run lights in the night, so its productivity is going to go up, and
Yeah.
it's going to change everything,
Yeah.
And then if you think AI, of course, is a hot thing right now. Or there's not enough computing power to run all the AI, But with Deepin, you can run, like you can provide computing power for AI, and that can be as small as individual machines, as well as you can build actually a Deepin data center.
That too, everybody having mobile phone that also helps these days.
Yeah, exactly. And so it's going to be a huge market, and I think it's going to change our perceptions as humans. Like basically, it's a way for you to participate in the economy and to earn money on the side, right? In easy ways. Like we have these crazy stories of people. Someone paid off their mortgage, someone went on a 20-year delayed honeymoon, someone bought a car finally after a long time. And I was at the conference in Sydney. No, it was in Melbourne in Australia, and someone was sitting in the first row, and he came to me after and hugged me and thanked me. And he was a retired trucker who was able to retire because he
Wow,
mined coin in XYO, cashed out at the right time,
man.
and had so much money that he was able to invest $400,000 into his
Wow.
friend's business even. And this was like, this story is like, wow, And
Goosebump
so
moment.
yes, you need to be lucky, right? Because the markets could go down, and the dollar you earn could be
Yeah.
worth 50 cents tomorrow. So it's not a guaranteed thing, but it's a way for you to get an asset, maybe get it almost for free. In our case, you just download an app for free, right? And participate. You get an asset, you get it for free, and you sit on it, and maybe you're lucky, and it appreciates. And I think it's this difference, when when you have people who are only able to work, who are not able to put assets to the side because it's like you have a big family, you need to feed everyone, right? You don't earn enough money. Then it's like you're always in this trot of like work, 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 work. The work goes away, your family doesn't eat. It's really hard, right? But if you have assets, then suddenly, your work goes away. Okay, you have your assets which earn you maybe return, right? And so it's a way for Deepin is a way for everyone basically to participate in the asset economy and to make money for free, basically.
Yes. Love that story, by the way. That Australian guy. Amazing, amazing. That's something that everybody craves for, right?
Yeah.
That is the only reason why we are working. Amazing.
Yes.
Great.
Yeah.
So, do you think the narrative is slowly shifting in the crypto space? Previously, it used to be all about, let's say NFTs or maybe meme coins. Do you think we are slowly moving into the utility phase with DeFi and Deepin and even RWA spaces chipping in?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I think for sure we're moving there. I think memes and NFTs that won't ever go away because people
Yeah.
love the itch on and the speculation. It's like a lottery ticket, right? Do you think it's like if it works out this time, then I'm gonna be a millionaire kind of situation. But most of the times it fails. The same as a lottery ticket, right? And,
Yeah.
so many people do it. So I don't think that won't go away. But Deepin, as I mentioned, is growing to 3.5 trillion. But if we speak about RWA, tokenized real world assets, Standard Charter said last year that's going to go to a $30 trillion market by 2034. $30 trillion, this is just so much money, it's like it's such a large percentage of the world global economy, which is going to be tokenized, and Deepin is a subset of that in a lot of cases, and yes, most definitely, I think it's going to change. We at XYO, we launched, we have the XYO Foundation, and then we have XYO Labs, the for-profit company. And 3 years ago, we decided to provide liquidity to the shareholders in our for-profit company as well, and we tokenized the shares and listed them. And now we have more than 24,000 shareholders in the company as well. And we are one of the trailblazers. We are one of the first 5 companies in the US to tokenize the shares because we really, really, really believe in that. It's like, imagine you have the town I just spoke about, right? And you have a bakery there, right? And the bakery struggles, let's say, because for whatever reason, right? And then it can go to its community, right? And tokenize its bakery, give away 20% to the community. The community buys the tokens, right? And then suddenly you own a piece of your local bakery, right? But also maybe the bakery gives you special things, right? On Sundays you get a special whatever deal, or you get a bread, or you are invited to the bakery festival. I don't know, right? But it's like you are able to participate, and not only the community, but also outside investors as well. So if you are in a community which doesn't have much money, but outside investors might be interested to buy a piece in your bakery, or in the electricity grid, or whatever you're building in your communities. And so RWA allows people like you and me to have access to any investment in any asset, right? A piece of real estate or a small business, or even a bicycle rental, or whatever you want, right? Or the food testing company.
I was waiting for this.
No, or a toll road, or electricity, whatever, solar company. I don't know what, but it's basically allows you to diversify how you invest, and you can say, okay, I invest $10 in the bakery, $10 into the solar thing, $10 into the toll road, and $10 into this, right? And so you diversify, and you can do good for your community, and you can earn regular returns and even higher returns because you're there in the early stages of a business. And so I think it's going to fundamentally shift how our economy works, tokenized real world assets.
That makes sense. Do you think we will ever be independent on, let's just say I have a phone and I have all the things that I consume. Do you think I can earn enough with all those things that I'm consuming that I could run freely and not worry about, earning daily wages?
Yeah, I think there's going to be a spot like that. We try to do that. There's a term called universal basic income.
Yeah.
And we wanted to build an app which was focusing on you earning your universal basic income, which basically allows you to earn a minimum amount of money so that you don't need to worry about maybe basic needs, let's say food, shelter, and water. Right now, there is just not enough earning, I think, but as that grows, the demand will grow, so that there's going to be more money flowing into Deepin, I think, like to go from 100 billion to 3.5 trillion, a lot of money has to flow into it, and I think then, yes, I think it can happen. And now, if you're lucky, it happens, like as in the case of the truck driver, right? He earned enough to basically cash out and retire, but a lot of other people don't,
Yeah,
and so it's not
that
a
makes
certain thing.
You must have gotten very early on the bus ride.
Yes.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, cool. So I think we have already touched upon this. What do you think Deepin will be in the next 2-3 years, and what could be the best or the biggest use case in your opinion? If you talk about the Deepin, apart from XYO, of course, what do you think could be the biggest use case that could take Deepin from here to here? Or is it already happening? Or is it somewhere else?
Yeah, it's a lot of that is happening on the compute side, because of AI has such needs to compute and store data and so on. So I think the amounts of money that can be invested in the United States alone, like OpenAI said they want to invest $500 billion into data centers and infrastructure in the US, because there's such a need. They're so hungry, the AI models, they can never have enough, and with that comes electricity demand. So I think electricity generation on a deep inside, is also going to go up. Like electricity costs are going up because of that already.
Yeah.
And so the more you can produce, I think, and there's a big deep in use case, and then also AI related. Like in our case, for example, we do data collection and data validation. So right, we can collect data for an AI and correct it when it hallucinates and also make sure like the data from a certain place, we have a high degree of certainty that this data is true and correct, feed it to the AI to train it, for example. So there's, I think, a lot of the deep end stuff around AI is going to grow a lot, I think, over the next few years.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Okay. Okay, so let's move out, from the deep in space, and let's talk about Exio for a bit. How do you, explain it to a total beginner like myself? How do you explain what exactly Exio does and what it stands for?
Yeah, in the easiest way, we connect real world data and we validate it. So we make sure it's true and correct. And then we connect it with Web 2 use cases or Web 3, like blockchain use cases. It's like a reality bridge of data, basically. That's in the easiest and simplest form. But based on that, you can do and a lot of there's so many use cases. We have a lot of partners and so on. But in the simplest way, that's basically what we do.
Okay, makes sense, makes sense. So, if I may ask, it could be a very brief one. What exactly do you do with the geospatial data that you guys are gathering using all those apps, right? Through
Yeah,
various users. What exactly do you do with the geospatial? Who consumes it or who buys
yeah.
it?
There's real estate companies, for example, to figure out where to
Okay.
build new real estate, right? Or there are companies like geolocation companies which want to have better data sets, because the data we provide has a high degree of certainty. We have a partner, their data set was wrong 60% of the time, and ours was correct 99.9 something percent of the time. And our users basically were collecting opening hours of restaurants, they took photos of them and this kind of stuff. And so it's this real world data, especially in you need that especially in places which are underserved by the big corporations, but it's also happening. Like this data set was from New York City. You would think like all the data there is mapped and perfect, but actually it isn't. And that data feeds into where ambulances drive, for example, or your ride sharing or your taxi and so on. They want to have the most efficient route, but if something's wrong, that's not good, obviously. So we have a lot of like geolocation related kind of data bias, and yeah.
Okay. Makes sense. I've been always, thinking about the same stuff, so I thought maybe I should be asking you directly. So yeah, that's cool. That's cool. Okay. So what do you think has been the hardest part explaining, being the CMO and the storyteller of the company? What has been the hardest part of your job? Is it communicating what your company does to the Web2 users, or is it, making clear that it is not just about having crypto and it has a utility as well?
When we launched in like 2018, 2% of the population in the US used crypto before. So nobody basically. And when I said, "Oh, we're in crypto," they said, "Oh, you must be a drug dealer or something." And people like totally misunderstood what
Yeah.
we're doing today. There's a better understanding, I think. And so then it was a lot of basic education, I think. But then our product was very much for the crypto communities that inhibited its growth, and we had to learn over the years how do we talk with non-crypto people. But today, 80% of the people who come into our community are non-crypto people, and we turn them into crypto people. And so this was the biggest learning for us and for me as well. To simplify and not to talk so much like blockchain jargon, but to simplify, to provide a solution which is powered by crypto and blockchain, but it's not the core thing we need to talk about.
I've been talking to a lot of, founders building amazing tech, right? And do you think they tend to overcomplicate things, explaining all the minute details to an end user that has nothing to do with it? Or is it necessary to tell them even?
Yeah, all the time. I think the problem is, us as a crypto community, we go to these crypto conferences all around the world. We talk with other crypto people, right? And we use our jargon, and then we talk in crypto slang, basically. We forget to then how to talk with regular people
To the
who
real
are not in
people,
crypto.
to the real people.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, that makes sense because I've as I think we discussed it as well. We have been to many conferences, events like Token 2049, and I hear all the time that people using all those fancy slangs and trying to be as nerdy as they can. But end of the day, it is all about serving the people or serving the whole that purpose is to serving the normal people rather than just the Web3 niche. So yeah, I think it's great that you already mentioned that I think 2% of the people were in the Web3 and 98 were from the Web2, which is amazing. So my next question will be related to this. What was the boldest move? You mentioned that you have been briefly called a drug dealer as well. So what was the boldest move that you played, which played in your favor back in maybe it could be back in 2018, 2019, or maybe it
Yeah.
could be a recent one. What was the boldest move as a CMO that you took that changed the game for you?
The boldest move, I think, probably was our launch, because we were so hyped up. It was 2017 and we were like, yes, we're going to build this awesome crypto company. The whole world is going to turn to crypto. And then the all-time high was on January 8th, 2018. And we were so excited. And then right after it dropped, and it dropped and it dropped and it
Like
dropped and
everyone
it
else.
dropped. And then we said, and then in March of 2018, we said, okay, we're going to launch our token sale. And when we launched it in ETH, so we priced it in ETH, not in US dollars. Or
Okay.
and when we launched the token sale, ETH was at $500, and when we ended, ETH was at $50. And it's just like it was just the worst time, and we said, no, we're gonna persist through this and gonna make it through it because we're gonna build something really awesome, and we're gonna tell people our story and so on. And it worked out, we had to build something real because of this, and we have a history of building something real, as co-founders, but this made it like it has to be so real, and it has to generate revenue and profits, and it has to be real, and so this made us super resilient. We changed our for-profit company, we changed the name to XY as a persistent company for a while, and then we changed it to XY Labs because we're like, we are persistent, we did this, and we built this awesome company. And more than 7 years later, we're here and are here to tell the story. So that was great, I think.
So I take it as the boldest move was to stay on in the market, unlike people, just shutting the doors off and just running away after seeing basically 90% drop in the
Yeah.
space.
Yes.
That's amazing. That's amazing. That's maybe why you are still standing here after 2, 3 bull and bear markets.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So speaking of bull and bear market, what has been more fun for you? Is it in terms of building stuff? Do you think bear market brings silence and you can easily or you can silently build stuff, and bull market could be something that is too noisy and too hyped up that gets you, sometimes give you a pump, but not necessarily bringing the growth in the project as per se.
Yeah. 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 I think most builders will say, oh, they like more the quiet times and the bear markets, I think. But I love the bulls. Like they give me so much energy because so many new people come into the crypto community. They're like, oh, what is this? Or it's like, oh, I have some XYO, and suddenly I go to price graph, let me check this out. And like, how can I contribute? And then come the partnership things. And then lots of new founders come in because they want to be part of the story as well. And, we have an ecosystem fund, so we fund some other projects. And a lot of that is happening in the bull market, and I love the excitement of the bull.
You love the vibe necessarily. You
Yeah,
love.
no, it's just a bull. I wish there would be sometimes more like the last bull was memes, before was NFTs. I hope that the next bulls are going to be driven by more sustainable models like Deepins and RWAs. And I think that's going to happen with all the institutional adoption as well. But it's still like brings a lot of excitement, I think, in our community.
Do you think we are in a bull market right now?
Partial bull market, like yeah, Bitcoin is at an all-time high, Ethereum, had crazy jumps, Solana, and so on, but it's not broad based yet. I think
Yeah.
a lot of altcoins, have a lot of opportunity, I think, to run up. I think, yeah, the macro environment is a little difficult, I think, because the interest rates in the US are still high. Today there was an indication that they might drop the interest rates a little bit in September.
Yeah, I think they did today. They did today. They just dropped the interest rate today.
Yeah, exactly. So and so that's a macro thing, tariffs, and how economies feel in countries. If people think they have high inflation and they are not going to have jobs tomorrow, right? Then you're not going to have a bull market, right? Because people are not excited to invest into assets, right? They withdraw from markets, and so we are in this weird position, where it's like there's some excitement. We hit Bitcoin's all-time high, but then it's like we people are also worried and afraid, and so it's difficult to say if we're in the bull market. But I say that while Bitcoin is at the top.
Maybe we still have time to get in.
Yeah. I think it's gonna come eventually.
Yeah, yeah. Do you think we are maturing a bit? Usually it used to be, pivoted to a single event that happens, then it goes up to 50, 60, 70%, or if it doesn't happen, it crashes down to back to, 30, 40, minus 30, 40, 50%. Do you think we are maturing a bit, that we are not really, dependent on a single event now? Or is it still sentiment based market as per se?
Yeah, I think there's less volatility because of you have so many institutional buyers and long-term holders now
Yeah.
because of the regulatory changes and all the stablecoin changes and so on. And so I think with that you have less buying and selling of retailers. It's a smaller percentage, but because of that, the dynamics of crypto changed a little bit. It runs more in the cycles of tech stocks from the risk, I think. And so, yes, I think you won't see this super crazy volatility on the larger tokens
Yeah.
like Bitcoin and Ethereum, but on small individual tokens, I think you can still see it. If I don't know, Narendra Modi tweets about your project, or Elon Musk, tweets about your project.
Nobody can predict him, right?
Yeah, exactly.
He can just post a meme and it can go up by 20% just now.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's something that we cannot predict. I don't think he can predict it either. So yeah, let's leave it to him. Yeah. So okay. So yeah, I think enough of serious talks. Let's talk a bit fun now. Let's do something more fun. In this, basically, I will be asking you a few questions, and you will be giving me a very honest and non-filtered answer, whatever comes into your mind, and it
So
could be anything. So we don't have to censor it. So yeah, let's get this started. Uh, my first question will be, which Web2 company do you think is going to be huge in the Web3 market?
I think it's going to be mostly all of them. It's like they have to be able to
Yeah.
compete. I think the technology we built in Web3 is so amazing, and to be able to be a part of that, they have to build in Web3. And you see it, like the big tech companies like Meta and Google and Microsoft, they're all building blockchain stuff. So I think basically all of them will be there.
So yeah, my next question will be, apart from XYO, which is your favorite Deepin project?
Yeah, I really like Ether, for example.
Okay.
Ether is like a
Yeah.
compute project in Deepin. They had over $100 million in revenue last
Yeah.
year. They're huge, and they're super, super successful. I love that success, and that success brings visibility into Deepin,
Yeah.
and that's why I love them right now.
Cool, cool, cool. Who is your favorite creator or the public figure in the Web3 space right now?
It's probably my co-founder Ari. He's amazing. I
Cool.
have to say, he's like a tech genius. Like something out of this world. And
Yeah.
and without him, it would have not have happened. And so he's my favorite.
Great, great, great. So my last question will be, what would be the, what is the advice that you will be giving to a teenager who is just starting out in crypto or even in Deepin?
Yeah, don't let go. Just become a part of it. Like just follow some projects. Like follow you guys, listen to your podcasts, and just listen and become a part of it. Maybe buy some tokens, just $10 or whatever. So you have some assets, which then once you have assets, you look at them, right? If they go up and down, you look at them,
Yeah.
then you're invested, right? You learn about the projects, and then, depending what kind of person you are, like build or found companies or do something, as I said, like, we help a lot. So send an email to partnerships at XYO Network, maybe it's applicable to our ecosystem fund, or we can connect you with some other founders as well.
Great, great, great. I think that's a wrap from my end at least. So that's a wrap for Emergence Unchained. Marcus, thank you for giving us a very clear picture of what Deepin is and what it could be in the coming days, and showing how XIO is turning up big ideas into real world impact, which is amazing to hear about you. And from empowering all the people to owning their data. So it is great to have you, and I hope that we will be catching up soon in India when you come to India in December. So everybody that is listening to this podcast, do check out XYO. They are doing amazing things, and I'm sure they will be doing amazing things in the coming days as well. So yeah, that's all from my end, and thanks for hanging us with us. And stay humble and keep learning. Thanks. Bye bye.